Is this the part where I get to start talking about how cute you were as Villain Deku?
No. Hello. It's been a long time since like an out of cosplay video. That's not like scripted. Don't, if you use the Victor voice, they're going to think that is your actual voice.
Fine. Hello. I am Baymax, your personal welfare companion.
Okay, so I posted on...
Oh, it's healthcare, not welfare. Oops.
I posted on the channel that if anyone had any questions, we were going to do a Q&A. You guys gave us a lot of questions. A lot of you gave us similar questions, and a lot of you gave multiple questions per comment. So because I'm a nerd, I've kind of itemized all of them and broken them up. And you haven't seen these because
I think
you looked at it a little bit.
I've seen like a couple. You showed me the one that asked about how we met, specifically because it embarrasses you when I talk about it.
Yeah, so that's what we're starting. So Anya Jinx Arcane commented, you should talk about how you two first met and coming out too. You should also do how you came up with your skit ideas because they're funny and creative, and I love your cosplay, by the way. So that was 3 questions, and that's gonna be our first 3 questions. I've just broken it up a little bit. Artemis the Unknown also asked how we met. A few of you guys asked how we met and how we started doing cosplay together. So that's what I wrote as number 1.
Actually, you did not number that one.
No,
I guess you did.
See what I've done? I told you I'm a nerd. I put the comments
and
I tabbed it, and then under it is the essential question that was asked within it. I told you, I'm a nerd. Do you want to tell the story?
Because I feel like I have
putting the computer on the floor for now. This is
maybe more context to the story than you do.
Well, I know this. Yeah, but it's
no.
It's
I mean like I am more involved in why it occurred.
Yeah.
The like obviously easiest way to put it is the internet, which is the basic answer, which is what you like to give.
It's what I say when people ask us that.
But the more in-depth answer is that when I was in college, I was doing one of my many YouTube rabbit holes, and this one in particular was Villain Deku animatics, and it kept recommending this video in my like watch next list that was like a cosplay skit, and I was like, that looks cool, but I'm watching animatics right now, and it just kept coming up. And so finally I was like, okay, I'll watch the cosplay one. I watched pretty much every animatic I can find right now. And so I was like, I'll watch this cosplay skit. And lo and behold, it was currently dubbed as Piper Emerald.
Yeah, because that was before the rebrand.
Yeah, it was the specifically Villain Deku prank calling.
Yeah. Is that video.
And I'm not gonna lie, that I did not know that it was you for all of them until like maybe the 2nd or 3rd installment of that series, because I just started watching like all of your Villain Deku stuff.
Yeah, a lot of my like Villain Deku and I think all of my Villain Deku and all of my online school videos, which were like the ones that got popular, was all just me playing every character.
I kid you not. And so I had already been like, wow, this person's like really neat. They have some fun stuff. Yeah. And so, again, considering we've already established I rabbit hole and deep dive, I watched like a decent bit of your YouTube, and then I went from that to your Instagram because it was in your bio. And I was like, wow, this human's like really neat and like pretty, and oh no. And keep in mind, at the time, I was like, oh, I'm pansexual. I just think people are neat when I like their personality. And then I was like, oh shit, women are attractive. And that's how I figured out I was a lesbian. So I was like, shit, like I have to make sure that this person is an acceptable age for me to have a crush on. So I did like
your homework.
Stalk your Instagram a little bit till I found one of the birthday posts with like a number referenced in the lyrics. And I was like, oh, thank God they're my age.
Yeah.
Because like,
yeah, I have my age in my bio now, just so people know I'm an adult.
Yeah, no, that was... So I was like, okay, cool. They're my age. It is acceptable to find them attractive.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of days where my roommate and one of my best friends from college had to just deal with me, like, being like, wow, this person is so cool and so pretty. And finally one of them was like,
I
just
don't know why
message her.
you thought I was cool from my villain Deku content.
I don't know what you want from me. This is a very long-winded version of this story.
Because my whole brand with the villain Deku stuff was that, like, it was stupid.
I understand that.
It was like, you went from these, like, edgy, like, dramatic, angsty animatics to, like, me.
You have to remember that I'm approaching this from a costuming setup.
Okay.
Like full, this person has done, like, a whole skit production on their own.
Yeah. Maybe I was kind of cool.
Like the content was fun and silly, but like there was like a lot of work that went into it. Which was very impressive. And again, I also like looked at some of your Instagram stuff. So like you had cool stuff that wasn't just Villain Deku. Cool. Villain Deku was just the only reason that I knew you existed initially. But yeah, so I did like the really generic like slide into the DMs of like, hey, just wanted to let you know, like, your cosplay is awesome and you seem really cool, by the way. And that was either like December or January. I don't remember like exactly if it was like before or after.
Yeah.
No, it had to be in January because it was after I broke up with my partner.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I had been dating someone who at the time was presenting as male, and then I was like, shit, I don't like men, so we broke up. And then I did message you after that.
Yeah.
I'm still friends with that person. They're fantastic. Life is weird and complicated sometimes.
Yeah.
You did not respond to that message. I think because I did not have my age in the bio at the time, I only had a private account.
Also, yeah, I very rarely, if I don't know you, will I like.
No, and that's fair.
The
that is a
fact that I
safety thing.
even responded to the message was a fluke. And I will also say, guys, don't take notes from this.
Don't.
This is a very rare occurrence where this like worked out and was normal. But generally. No. Yeah, if someone, while I appreciated compliments, I also was like, I'm not going to engage. Because I had bad experiences of engaging with someone who would like DM me, oh, I really like your content. I'd be like, oh, thanks. And suddenly it would be like, all of these, like, this is all the horrible things that are happening in my life, but at least you're talking to me, and if you don't stop talking to me, I will do something terrible to myself, which is, like, which does not happen, I think, as much anymore, but that happened a lot to a lot of cosplayers, so I did not answer DMs.
No. I also realized that, again, because my account was private, and I did not have my age in my bio, that you had no way of vetting if I was a child
that's also a thing, is also a lot of people who will DM our children.
Which is why this is actually why I put my age in my bio. Mm-hmm. Was because I was like, well, I was able to look through your public page and figure out your age.
Yeah.
But you obviously could not do that with me. Mm-hmm. So it was like, yes, I'm not a child.
Yeah.
And then quarantine happened, and I waited like a week into quarantine, and then I kind of like slid into the DMs again, and I was like, so how's your quarantine going? And then like a week later you responded to that, and we like sporadically messaged a little bit.
And I think I'd like seen your profile on something else too. Like there was something that was like, it might have been from Patreon, like that I realized you were like I
was on your Patreon for a while.
No, I think I made the connection of this is the same person, and I've like had minimal interaction with this person verifying they are a real human and are not gonna be
a real human,
and if I respond are not gonna be crazy
for things on Patreon.
Yeah.
No, I totally forgot. I did.
I think that might have
Valentine's thing too.
Yeah, and I think everyone I'd interacted through there was like a normal human, mm-hmm. So that's why
because initially it was like, this is just like a harmless little crush, but also I want to like support that you're like making content.
Also, though, maybe don't do it if you're a content creator and watching this, maybe don't do what I did either, because again, like this is I think the rare circumstance where it's a cute story, like, and it's really nice that we're both not crazy.
It was several months into talking before you actually asked me if I was the same person from the Patreon, though. Yeah. And then you were like, please stop giving me money.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? No, you were like, stop giving me money. It's
there
weird
are a
now.
lot of layers in this, and I think it's also because I'm a smaller creator, it was like less creepy for like on either end, but like if either of us was weird, it could have gone like really wrong. So that's why I'm like, it's a cute story, but like don't recreate
it's a cute story until you start
it's a cute story
from any lens other than us being exactly who we are.
There could have been weird undertones. There could have been but there luckily there was not. Yeah.
No. And it was very much like shoot my shot, and if it doesn't go anywhere, then like it doesn't go anywhere. But
and I know we're not the only like cosplay couples or like content creator couples that have met similarly, but again, these are like rare instances where
I can think of,
if you're gonna like respond to someone who's found you through your content, be careful. And if you're gonna approach someone who you found through content, be careful, because if I was a shitty person, it could have been really like
that could have been bad.
That could have been like a massive like just relationship wise abuse of power, because so
and instead we have the very first video call ending with your sister asking if I'm a potential suitor.
Well, we'd been talking online for a long time.
No, we had. It took a while to
that was
get to the point.
That's another thing, is that like it takes a long time if I've only met someone through like the internet for me to like interact with them on any other form too.
We also had the like slight self-sabotage element.
Oh yeah, no, that too. That also self-sabotage.
Which we don't think about too hard, because that is the one and only time that my friend / little sister threatened to have you eaten by sharks, because at 3 a.m. she found me crying. Because
eaten by sharks.
That was like so odd. Okay, well,
I didn't know that was
comment her comics. So she draw like, and to be fair, that was not necessarily you specific. That was any potential romantic partner who ends up being
by
mean
sharks.
to Nick now has a comic in which they will be eaten by sharks.
Anya Drinks asked about coming out, and then that one Brick with 2 Ks asked, how did you figure out your identity? How did you come out to your friends, family, from someone who doesn't know if they're guy, boy, gender fluid?
Okay, well, one, valid. You don't have to know
who you are. And if you're younger and think like, oh, we're adults and we know we have everything figured out, no.
No, I routinely, like my, not motto necessarily, but I do say it with some frequency, is if I don't get to know what I am, neither does anyone else. So I usually just use like non-binary or genderqueer, because those are like the like most encompassing. But like it is just kind of like, it is what it is, and that will fluctuate. I'm like firmly not boy, but that does not mean I don't necessarily want to be presented as masculine on occasion. Yeah. In the same way that I'm not girl, but sometimes would like to be perceived more girl. Like it's like a whole thing.
Everything is a spectrum.
Yeah. No, it's complicated. It's always complicated.
I think to speak simply, like a more simplified like versions of both of our stories, I think we figured out that we were queer because we were around other queer people who had their stuff not figured out, but like had an idea of that terminology and that experience, and that's I think how we connected the dots for ourselves, of realizing like, oh, that's an option, and oh, that's maybe me. For me, it was a lot less traumatic. As I'm lucky enough to have grown up in a like very like liberal area with like normalized like queerness being normalized, and not that it wasn't like hard to come out, but it still was like I knew that that my dad was gonna have a positive reaction, and apparently I came out as bi and he thought I was a lesbian the whole time. I guess thought like that's probably easier for her to say, and I told him like recently, like when after he first met you, I've been like, no, that was what I thought that I was at the time.
And interesting, mine was very much like a down the road.
Yeah, because
I know you kind of did the and you were same, because when we started talking, you had still identified as pan.
Yeah, so it's and that is on the internet. If you go back far enough in my channel, actually, like kind of every step of like me from like a mid-high school upward has been on the internet. I've taken a lot of it down, but I think my like coming out, because it wasn't a coming out video, because all of my followers knew I was queer. I knew I was queer, but I wanted to clarify the whole like, oh, I don't think I like men at all thing.
I remember you posting that because we were talking about it while my family was watching a church service downstairs.
Which is so horrifying.
I was sitting on the half story upstairs because that was how I got away with not actually going to church during the pandemic. Was they'd have it on the TV, they'd all be down in the living room, and I'd be like, I can see from up here, it's fine. And then I'd slowly scoot further and further away till I couldn't actually see it, and I'd spend the whole like hour and a half just like texting you being like, I'm listening to church hymns right now.
Oh boy.
And I don't want to be here. Yeah. And they stopped doing that after I jumped out my window. It was on the ground floor. It was on the ground floor. It was on the ground floor. All of my coming out stuff like was like in college. I only ever went to Catholic school, like kindergarten through college. But my roommate in college clocked me upon meeting me as queer but doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, how did they clock you?
I said I liked their Gravity Falls sticker. And that
Gravity Falls made them
apparently all it took. We didn't actually live together then. We just had an 8 a.m. together. And then, like, from that second semester freshman year all the way until quarantine, we roomed together. And at no point before I said something did they say anything to me. It was always like because it was very obvious that I had a lot of stuff from mainly my mom saying things when I was like a kid and growing up, that I was just like, oh, like that's just not okay. Like you have to only like I am girl, so I can only like boy. Like that's all there is. I'm gonna get married and I'm gonna have kids and we're all gonna go to church together forever.
Terrifying.
Yeah, so
it's terrifying.
Obviously my roommate very quickly figured out that that's what was going on, and both of us enjoyed creating things like characters, storyline stuff, and so they just started kind of slipping it in. They'd be like, no, this character is bisexual, and I'd be like, what? And they'd be like, no, it means that this character can like boys and girls, and that's okay. And I was like, what's like short circuiting.
Oh no.
Like, I was like, what do you mean? And they did this for that whole semester that we started living together. It was not until sophomore year that I had my first boyfriend. And I was like, oh my God, I think I'm asexual. And they were like, fucking finally. Yes.
Yeah, you are.
You are not straight. And this is like terrible, but this is how I class it. It was very much like a 3 strikes you're out thing. It was the first boyfriend. I was like, oh, I'm asexual. The second boyfriend, I was like, maybe I'm pan. Maybe it doesn't have to be a boy. Like maybe it's just people's personalities. And like I still like to think I put a lot more on personality than anything else.
Yeah.
But then after my last relationship, I was like, I just don't like men at all. And then immediately after that was when I started having a crush on you. And I literally texted my friend once because I had always thought that like, especially relationship-based emotions, that you could just like manually turn them off like no problem. Because that's what I had always been able to do. Because men, there were like nights where my brain, I'd be like trying to go to sleep because I'd have like an 8 a.m. the next day. And my brain would just be like, hey, remember how cute that girl on the internet is? I'd be like, brain, please, it's like 11 p.m. I'm trying to go to sleep. And then my brain would be like, you're going to be up until 3 a.m. thinking about this. And I'd be like, I can't stop you, can I? And my brain would be like, nope, we only think girl pretty. And so I texted my friend and I was like, is this normal? Is this a thing that happens to people? And my friend was just like, this is typically how crushes work, yes. Like, this is
typically, yes.
This is in fact how most people that we've interacted with, like, this is generally how people would describe it, yes. And I was like, take it back.
No more.
I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like having to not sleep because I think a person is cute. Like, what? But then, yeah, that Valentine's Day, I came out to my dad, just my dad. My mom had been, like, driving down to visit me because it was, like, right after all of my cumulative exams finished. As in, if I didn't pass those cumulative exams, it did not matter that I had been at the school for 4 years taking classes. I would not have gotten my degree.
Yeah, those are fun.
I hate those so much. But she was coming down to see me afterwards because obviously big stress. And so I'm like on the phone with my dad, and I don't even remember exactly how it came up. I was like so scared to say anything because, again, mostly my mom has had like a lot to say since I was a child. Especially like one of my older cousins had come out. I was probably in middle school. And so like that whole time, like, I'm just listening to the way she like would talk about my cousin and the way she would talk about the way my aunt interacted with my cousin and like all of this stuff, and I was like scared to death that like that would not go well. So I was like, but dad hasn't really said any of that. So we'll tell dad. And he was fine, and he was also very much like yeah, I won't say anything to your mom because I know like that's, you got to figure out how or when you're gonna tell her. Especially because I had already prefaced with, you know, what if I just change my name and disappear off the face of the earth and never talk to anybody ever again? And he was like, please don't do that. And I was like, so you're not kicking me out and cutting me off and getting rid of you, getting rid of my existence in the family? And he was like, no, like, why would you ever think I was going to do that? And then I had a really awkward visit with my mom. But yeah, no. So then with like my mom, we had to move home for quarantine. And that was awkward. And so then at the end of the school year, I moved to my friend's house with her family for the summer. And the idea had been renting a room from them until my friend and I are able to get jobs and have an apartment. But again, this is the summer of 2020. Everything is shut down. Not a lot of places are hiring. And so I'm like almost through the 2 weeks of quarantine of when I like got to their house, of like I was just staying like up in that room and like the bathroom that I had adjoining it, at the point where I was like, but what if I just tell my mom now that I live like 14 hours away? And I have never seen a human physically buffer before. But she did. Yeah. And she was kind of upset that I hadn't told her before that she was the last one to know, because once I told her, it was very obvious that I had gotten both of my siblings to not be in the house because both of them knew.
Did you tell your brother? I'm gonna plug the camera in.
my sister and I were on Discoveries about the same time. So we were pretty open communication with each other on like where we were at with like gender identities and like orientations. My brother, I accidentally came out to because he had just gotten back from a trip and was talking about like some of the stuff, and I had like made a joke, and then I said something about like, oh, it would like suck to like boys, like that, like they're gross. And he just kind of like looked at me and was like, so what, do you like girls then? And I was like, yeah, pretty much.
Right, I remember this.
And then I was like, oh no. And he was just kind of like, yeah, okay. And that was it. Like that was like the whole conversation that we had
like
about it.
Boy.
Yeah, I was like, boys are gross. But yeah, no, so like my mom realized, I guess, specifically, Like, my brother was out just, like, with his friends for, like, D&D. So, like, that was something he did every week. We just told him, hey, don't hurry back.
And your sister was like, I gotta stay with someone else.
Yeah, and my sister was like,
I can't be here.
Please, aunt and uncle, can I stay with you for the night? And I had not told my aunt and uncle anything at all. But they absolutely had suspicions, and they had for a while. And so they thought that I was already seeing somebody.
Oh, and then that's
and that I was going to be telling them that I was, like, dating someone. Mm-hmm. And so my aunt, initially she'd been like, oh, like, maybe not tonight because you come over later this weekend instead. And my sister was like, no, Mom, like, Nick's gonna have a conversation with Mom. And I need to not be there. Because generally how it would go is if I did something that my parents didn't like, they automatically assumed my sister knew about it, and then she'd also get in trouble. And this included me cutting my hair with my own money as a, like, senior in college. But it was too short for my mom's taste, so she, like, also got mad at my sister.
Which is wild. That's
for just, like, assuming that my sister knew and had not warned her how much hair I cut off.
Did she know? Like, not that justifies it, but
I think by that point I had shown my sister a picture.
Oh boy.
There was the buffering, there was the, well, how do you know for sure? There was the, are you dating your friend you moved in with? No, I am not. Like, all of that kind of stuff. And the, again, shock and surprise of, you thought that we were gonna say you could never come home again? Why would you ever think that?
Yeah.
For reasons. For many reasons.
Yeah. Why would you ever think I would do the things I said that parents should do when their children are queer?
Yeah, no, so I did end up having to move back home because, again, job market, quarantine, not great. I moved home, and within the week I had a job offer from the place I had just been living, and I was like, fantastic, I don't live there anymore. But yeah, no, that was the... Well, I'm already out, and it's too late now.
Can't go back in.
Compared to 5 years ago, the relationship I have with my parents is better.
I think your family is an example of some people can come around but that doesn't it's not on, like, you as a kid, or, like, for people watching, it's not on you as, like, the child coming out to regardless of your age, like the adult child or teenager. It's not on you to make your parents, like, come around, or to even, like, give them that opportunity. Yeah. And there will be people in your life who will support you for who you are, and you've had those people.
Absolutely.
And yes. that's the important part.
Yes, that was really only orientation stuff. Gender's always been a...
Oh, yeah, that's just like this is...
Like, I kind of, like, figured out all the orientation stuff.
The iceberg
in, like,
coming
year.
out. Yeah.
And then, like, immediately afterwards, it was just like, so what's gender identity? And I was like, haha. What?
Figuring yourself out is hard, and I think it's important for people to realize that you don't have to have it all figured out.
You are allowed to change.
Sometimes you're, like, maybe OCD and you want to have everything figured out, and you like to have your little labels, and then you just have to breathe and accept that you don't have things figured out. This is about me.
Yeah. You are also not obligated to use specific sets of pronouns for any identity.
Oh, true. Yeah,
and you are allowed to switch which ones you use, especially if you see them on a badge at con and it makes you cry because you think people are going to perceive you that way.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't have she in my bio anymore.
We put a little...
We taped over the S.
Over the S, so it just, yeah. So it said he, they, instead of she, they.
Yeah.
We started with 2 questions that had long stories.
Yeah. No, I talk a lot.
In my itemized... No, I knew they had long stories, though.
I understand that I bounced around a little bit too.
I wasn't sure if you'd wanted to answer the coming out one on the internet, because you did. I was like, okay. I'd asked you before, like, is this okay? Because we don't have to answer it. But
I've never really, like anybody who's asked, I've always been pretty open about it. Like, I don't know.
I came out in Japan.
It's from Japan.
Yeah. We were on a trip. We were visiting people. We were in a restaurant, and I was like, I'm bi. And my sister was like, I know.
Do we want to talk about our skits?
Yeah, like, is there anything else you want to say on this topic?
I think I'm out. I think I'm out of things.
You're out of coming out?
I mean, obviously I can always talk about the trauma more. But
So Arius asked, what
I'm still
inspires,
trying to figure out if you're the
motivates-
Echo who gave me that note.
What inspires and motivates you to both execute and plan for a video? And then his second question is, we're not a question, he thinks we're cool. And he had fun at the panel. Yeah, so we met Arius at KawaiiCon, we did our Arcane panel, and he was one of the 2 Echoes we had in the audience. And he asked a question, and it might have been him, it might have been the other Echo, we don't know. Asked a question.
We had like the note cards that you could like write on that we could
Victor,
answer.
how did it feel to get like your ass handed to you or something like that?
Yeah,
it was nicer, phrased nicer, but that was the gist of it.
I can't remember the exact phrasing, but it was very much like how did it feel to get like owned by Echo or something. Except here's the thing, is that at the top you're supposed to write the character that it's for. They had written Echo, crossed it out, and then wrote Victor. So I knew it had to be an Echo.
Like they thought, character means my character. Like, oh wait, no.
And there were only 2 Echoes in the audience, and they were sitting next to each other.
Estiacos asked, what tips are coming out for cosplay video ideas? Do you start with character or what you'll do in the video? So I kind of looped all these under like, what is video process?
It kind of depends on the...
Depends on the video.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For our skit content, I'll have like an outline generally of like bits that we want to do. And sometimes it's a lot more scripted because we'll have
it depends on the characters. We pretty heavily script our Hunter x Hunter content.
Yeah, because
there's 4 characters.
Yeah, so if it's and that's the same when I do videos by myself, which I do less on for cosplay, but when I had to do it all by myself, it would be like completely scripted. So
because you don't want to like miss a line or add something that no other character addresses, and you can't like because the makeup is different.
Yeah, and when we're doing 4 characters, or I'm doing like multiple characters, or both of us are doing multiple characters, there are going to be times where you're going to be talking to yourself. So that's when it's got to be scripted. And then even for those videos, the times that we knew it would not be like that, we'd be bouncing off each other. We didn't script it as much.
And we would ad-lib a little bit, but it was like... It was more heavily, like, bullet pointed.
Yeah.
So, like, especially, like, our, like, messing with Leorio videos is, like, it'd be like, oh, well, Kilo roughly does this thing. Gon asks, like, these kind of questions.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't necessarily be, like, this is the exact phrasing you use.
Yeah. But for those kind of stuff, because you are, when you're editing it together, it needs to seem like a natural conversation.
Sometimes it's just...
Yeah.
Leorio rants about hats. And then Bree breaks.
Yeah. But for the JVIC content, we haven't had any instances where someone's been a different character. So it's kind of just been like the whole scene has been just the 2 of us. So we'll have like basic idea, like for the expectation versus reality. We know like roughly this is what like the joke of the expectation is, this is what the joke of the reality is, but it'll kind of become its own thing.
Sometimes we won't tell each other exactly what the other one's gonna do.
Yeah.
When I like took the purse, I don't think you did not know. I said I have a thing I'm gonna do.
No, but you'll tell me, you're like, Jace doesn't get to know. Let's just like start the camera and do this, and then I'll do my bit, and then you'll Yeah,
no, and that like kind of works because I feel like it gets like a more genuine reaction.
But that's also how the drunk Victor skit happened, was because it was one bit in expectation versus reality, because like the expectation was Victor gets drunk, but the reality is Victor would be able to hold his alcohol, but Jace wouldn't. But we did the drunk bit was so long, and we did like so many like added bits of it because we thought we were funny that it just kept going. It just became its own skit in addition.
Yeah, because sometimes
I just
we
like
definitely
used
like
part of it for expectation, and it just became its own video.
We like run a scene.
Yeah.
And because it's improv, you just kind of go until you're done so that you don't miss anything. Sometimes it'll also just be like a random idea, or we'll like throw around like, oh, what if this character did this thing? Or we'll have an idea and we'll assign different fandom like sets of characters to it until like one of them sticks. The number of times that we'd be like, but what if it's just this character but they have a cat? Because I have a cat.
haven't even done that yet.
I know. I say this because I was thinking about it because I just found like our like doc of skits.
There's so many different
and
skits.
The top one is just skate. Cherry has a cat. That's it.
We should just do every version with Quizzy.
Exactly. But yeah, sometimes it's just like one of us says off the wall like random things and the other one goes, okay, well, write it down.
Yeah.
And it might get incorporated into a skit at some point and it might not.
And then the vlogs are very much more random, and those usually happen because we're doing an event or just because we're
going somewhere in cosplay.
Yeah. Baking videos too, they end up like having their own storyline, but that's never on, like usually it's just like, oh,
that's
we're gonna
just
make
me
these
talking
things in character. Yeah, but they've just kind of, every time we do a baking video ends up having some sort of subplot.
We did semi-intentionally tie the My Hero baking videos together.
Yeah, and then the Hunter x Hunter baking video was a little scripted because we knew we wanted other characters to have bits, and we were filming a lot that night. And game night's its own thing. That's every time we
that's always its own, like that's unscripted. That is very much just how much can Victor get away with cheating before he gets called out on it.
I have another question later, well, a lot later, about game night, but that depends on who we have with us too. And then what games that we play. We have a semi-consistent rotation.
So I'm going to back up to the baking videos. There have been times that we've added entire scenes that have extended the baking videos that we did not intend to have.
Yeah, so there's like extra
the Toga
lore.
Choco one, where I'm in Toga and I'm just like talking about all the conspiracy theories that the League has bets running on. That was entirely unprompted. I just tend to try and stay roughly in character while things are baking so that I'm ready to go when we like pull stuff out of the oven. And we weren't even intending to be filming anything during that like baking period, but I just started talking about the conspiracy stuff and Brie just kept filming.
Yeah. For panels, for like, I think this kind of goes into like similar to the question too. There is a little bit more structure. Because we've done one panel that was just Q&A and just like talking in character, and that I think was maybe one of the more stressful panels because you can't always guarantee the audience is going to have questions or that like you're going to have enough bits to run off.
And which we had some people come through and ask some great questions. They had in-character stuff that they did too, and that was fantastic.
No, sometimes you're cute. Like for our
there were still several points that we didn't. So having Q&A as just like a segment that you can go to if needed. Like we had very limited Q&A in the Flyer Derby panel. But anytime that we had technical difficulties or we needed to stall, it was, okay, Willow's going to handle tech and Hunter's going to go out into the audience and do Q&A about the Emperor's Coven.
Because for both the first Flyer Derby panel and our recent Has Been Hotel panel, I blocked out very, like 5 minutes for Q&A. And then everyone had questions and, like in-character things they wanted to do, so it ended up being, like, almost half the panel was Q&A and was audience interaction, which is fun. If people want to do that, I won't cut that off for a while, but I'm always prepared for it for a shy audience.
We always want to have enough to do if there's not a big response.
What I think is different about our panels and some of the other panels where we were running them is that we like to do very game-based and character stuff. And that worked for both the family-friendly ones and for the 18+ ones. 18+ ones, the games were just a little bit more like, we just did the Cards Against Humanity, which was more silly and more like inappropriate because everyone was an adult, so that was fun. And then we did like the tier list, which wasn't an audience participation game, but that was kind of a game amongst all of us.
It turned into audience participation.
Well, wait, I told them like let the audience help you rate things, and they were immediately like, I'm an S tier and no one else is, and I'm like, guys.
Establishing bits both in skits and in panels is a lot of fun for you and for the audience because of the recurring. It's not a motif, but like.
An audience likes a recurring bit,
Yeah. So, like, when we did the Heaven Officials one, and I was, like, exclusively, like, the broom boy.
Yeah, no, that was... if you have reoccurring things, that's always fun. And that kind of comes naturally, I think.
Don't tell him it's because I couldn't remember his name.
I think for filming skits and for panels, because we've been doing it for a while, we're a little bit more comfortable. So then it helps. So when we have other people, I think it helps that we know we get the ball rolling and then they can jump in. And that happened a lot for the Arcane panel. I think once things got going, people had, like, on the panel had bits with each other. The girls had a lot of bits I didn't even catch because I was, like, doing tech or, like, fielding something else. And then I looked back and I'm like, you did what?
Our Jinx especially had to get used to it because that was our roommate for a while. And so therefore they just lived with us constantly, running around in cosplay doing skits in the living room.
Yeah.
And anytime that we roped them in, like they just had to get very used to the fact that we would do this.
This is supposed to be a short. I tried to put, like, rapid fire questions in between, but we'll see if it's actually rapid fire. Meadow Silver asked, favorite thing the other does while in cosplay / filming.
Oh, did we answer how we come up with videos? No, we did.
Oh,
sort of.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Random.
I
know that's not super helpful, but sometimes one or the other of us will come to each other with, like, a semi-detailed, like, hey, I want, like, this kind of thing. But yeah, a lot of times it is just,
this
like,
is how we come up with things.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are times. Oh my god, did we write down the one I was telling you about at bedtime, like, 2 nights ago?
No, what?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'll try to remember.
I remember, like,
was it a Victor thing or was it a...
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't even... Because I was going to go into... Sometimes it's, like, 10 at night and we're, like, laying down in the dark and I just go, hey, what if we made this into a skit? And then I remembered that I did that earlier this week and I don't remember what it was. I don't know. There's the time that we did Waterloper's comic.
So if we have, like, a direct inspiration, that's a bit different.
I would say we usually don't do that as often.
No.
Sometimes if it's based off of something, like when we're in an AU, but it's, like, referencing other material.
Oh, also, I've done, like, my, like, 1-minute TikTok skits or, like, 2-minute TikTok skits, and people have, like... And we've liked the idea of that and then branched that into its own thing. Like, the whole, like, Victor... like, TikTok AU that ended up being, like, a 3-part series was just because I made the, like, if the Arcane characters had TikTok skit. And we thought, we could do more with the whole, like, Victor flirting with Jace and documenting it as a, like...
And then I think for the non-cosplay skits, like the TikTok kind of skits that we have both done, you'll do parts to yours, but you kind of, like, bounce around more, like, you don't stick with a specific storyline as much.
I don't do more than, like, 6 or 7 parts.
Whereas, like,
you have, like, an AU.
I, like, run, like, a specific AU when I write mine, so they, like, all stay collectively in that, and it's because I don't have the attention span to finish a fanfic for it.
I've thought about, I think at some point I might want to do, like, cosplay versions of, like, the TikTok skits for, like, both of ours, but maybe, like, see if there's more things that we can add if it's 2 people versus just 1 person being everyone.
But that's, like, more production. I can't be Silco anymore.
Oh.
It's, like, the one good thing about having the longer hair.
Okay, favorite thing while in cosplay?
Not your beard.
The favorite thing that I do is not my beard. Okay.
Not your beard.
I'll get
for
better,
kisses.
like, setting spray.
And it also gets on my sweaters.
I haven't gotten my beard on your sweater. I got my contour on your sweater.
I know. Let's see, what is my favorite thing that you do in cosplay? Well, I think it depends on the character, though.
Yeah. I like the reoccurring bits you have as Victor that, like, go through each video. I don't like the Jace bullying as much because it ends up being, like...
In my defense, Victor starts it. It just kind of happens.
Yeah. I like when Victor's nice to me.
Sometimes the, like, behind the scenes stuff is really fun. Like, when we're, like, dancing around off camera, that's funny.
No, I do, like, it's never helpful for the video, but I like when we make each other break. Same for, like, when we made our friends break, too. And I feel like you're the best at it. especially as Victor. I feel like you've broken everyone the most.
It's the ADHD.
Yeah. The FX asked who and what inspired you to start doing cosplay, and Sarah Goes Toodles also asked what inspired you guys to first start posting, what was the first cosplay you guys did, so I kind of lumped that together of inspiration / first cosplays.
I mean, I had encountered the concept of cosplay before, and I kind of thought about it, like, I was like, oh, that's really cool. Halloween had always been my favorite, even though, like, especially in later high school, anytime that I'd still get excited and dress up for Halloween, because I was like the one day that my parents wouldn't be like, aren't you a little old for that? I would still get the, aren't you a little old for that?
That's just stupid.
Yeah. But I, especially like my middle school through high school years, would pick more character specific instead of generalized concepts. Like I did Annabeth Chase from Percy Jackson for Halloween once. I took, I guess, less completely character specific, but my friend wore like some Nightwing stuff once, I think it was our senior year of high school, and I was dressed just kind of as like a general like League of Assassins member. Later in college, I had started seeing, I had some friends who cosplayed, and then again I had like come across yourself, and I was like, oh, this is a thing that people just like do.
Yeah.
And that was about the point that I started looking at like other like cosplay skits and at like videos of like people who would just like do like little like in character, like, oh, Kiribaku at the grocery store,
that was like the golden age of cosplay TikTok,
or like Instagram cosplay kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, like there's a, like, this is a, again, like a thing that like people do, and that's really neat. So that's kind of how I started getting into it. I think the first one I had done was Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians. And my first set of pictures from him, I didn't even have his wig in yet. I just had like
the jacket,
fabric painted his hoodie. And then my brother actually did a little bit of woodworking and helped me make like a staff for him.
So you were kind of in like new wave TikTok, not TikTok, cosplay, not, I don't know. I feel like there's different like generations-ish of like that.
Because I got in TikTok at about the same time.
Yeah, I didn't mean TikTok. I just meant like cosplay. I guess more cosplay YouTube. So I was technically 5 years before you with cosplay. Because I started mine like senior year of high school. My friend had like peer pressured me into watching Death Note, and that had been like an ongoing process for like several years.
Peer pressured me into watching Death Note?
No, worse. Where like it was a consistently, you would really like this, and I was like, I don't want to watch it. And then eventually, I don't know, like they did get me to start watching it, and I like binged it very quickly. And then I don't remember exactly what got me to watching cosplay videos, if I had just like been Googling like on YouTube like Death Note related content. But that was like back in like when cosplay YouTube was like really a thing, and there were a lot of different skit groups. So I watched a lot of Cup of Squirrel, which I don't think is a thing anymore. And they had a lot of Death Note stuff. They had a lot of Soul Eater stuff. And I think it was Cup of Squirrel, Alchemic Fox, and what's now Weeb Chapel, which are like the only ones I think of those who are still actively making content. So I watched a lot of their skits, and so did my sister and one of our friends, and then and Izzy. Yeah, so then we started making skits also, because we're like, we want to be like those people, and I was really like so much more low quality with like no idea what we were doing, but that started it.
High school was having fun.
Yeah, and I've been active, like I don't think there's been a point that I haven't been making videos since then. It's just not all online. So I would cite Cup of Squirrel, I think, as a big inspiration, and Weeb Chapel, also Uptown Cosplay, who we've met a few times at through the cosplay lip sync community up here. Who did, and I think they did less like skit content and more like cosplay in public stuff and lip sync stuff. Yeah, so that was like, I guess the kind of two sides of cosplay YouTube was either like cosplay in public, like vlog style, con performances, con skits, and then there was just the skits that you can make at home. We only had like one con where I was living. You gonna sneeze?
maybe. It went away. We're good.
We only had one con, so there was less, I guess, time. Oh, and the panel stuff. I'd watched a lot of Uptown's panels. That was it. That was also a lot of like in character, and they have like a specific style with theirs. What I learned a lot of, I think, different panelists have kind of different styles that they do their cosplay panels in.
Absolute props to the ones who stay in character all the time.
We do that.
I know. No. I'm specifically referencing the spirit of growth.
At con, yeah.
At con. Like, not just in panels.
You do that as Victor.
That's a more recent development.
Yeah. It's just been a Victor, though. You are Victor all day when you're a Victor.
Well, he just kind of shows up anyway.
We talked to people at con and in the artist alley, and you're like, I'm going to start the Glorious Evolution. I'm like, no, he's not. And they're like, I'll join. And I'm like, no, you won't.
That is more recent development.
I like this question.
Ooh, what do we have?
Catherine Merms Scott asked, how did you find other local cosplayers to play with? Looks like an absolute blast being able to do what you do together as larger groups without having to wait for the next con / event. So I'm assuming you're referring to game night. I think what's interesting, some of them have been people that we've known, like our roommate is Jinx. Our Caitlin, I've just known for a long time. But
when we got Izzy to be Vi, Izzy's just been a family friend for a long time.
Well, yeah, Izzy's always done just kind of like humored me with the cosplay stuff. She enjoys it too, but like Izzy's always been like down to do cosplay stuff.
And some of it is finding people at con,
what I was gonna say
then saying, hey, let's hang out outside of con.
I think con is a good way to meet people, and I think you just have to be kind of like, and I say this as you're much better at this than I am. That's why we have friends, is because they're a lot more extroverted and
I'm
a lot better at
introvert. That's like the
but you're very good at befriending people.
Personality type.
Yeah. So it is when you meet people at when you go to con, go to meetups, go to panels, and just and talk to people. Yeah, you have to be a little bit extrovert. You have to kind of put yourself out there. But that's how we met our Mel for game night. We met our Silco for game night at con also because he came to one of our panels and played a bunch of the games, and we like just. That's
with him a lot, and related to the question at all, but that kind of going back to like the in character stuff. There are characters that I can't stay in character for. Like Nier is hard.
To the character. Oh yeah.
Because I can do Nier for photos.
You're thinking of that because we met Silco
because that's where I met.
Panel.
Yeah.
I just have to verbalize.
No, I'm sorry.
The connection.
And for us, running panels has been a good way to meet people because people want to talk to you afterwards.
Yeah. So it's. Be proactive to meet people at con, but also be proactive to create your own events, whether that's at con or outside of con, because
you can absolutely just throw out there like, hey, if I'm at this public location on this day at this time for XYZ theme, like we did like an Arcane meetup after QuaiCon this past year.
Yeah, and that's because we met our friend who cosplays Mel at con, but it wasn't hey, I met you once at con, come to my house, you should come to my house and play games. That was, we held another meetup, and you talked to her like quite a bit online. Mm-hmm. She came to the meetup, we did a bunch of pictures, we actually like talked to her in person, so then it wasn't weird to be like, oh hey, we're gonna do another game night, do you want to come over? Mm-hmm. It is hard to make cosplay friends, but you have to. A lot of it is, I think, being proactive to make those connections and to, like reach out to people and be prepared to plan your own events and meetups.
I make cosplay friends very similarly to the way that I have always made friends as a child and through college.
You go up to people and you say, hi, do you want to be my friend?
Sort of. That I started in high school. It's more like... I'm the kind of person who, if I see something in your outfit that I think is really neat, or if you seem really cool, I'm probably, unless you are already visibly doing something or in a hurry to go somewhere, or like talking to someone, I'm going to want to go up and tell you that I think you are really cool, or that I think like XYZ about your outfit like is really pretty or something. And sometimes people will stop and chat with you that way. Sometimes people are like, oh, cool. And then you like continue on your day. And if it's just one of those like continue on your day thing, it's like, cool, great. I got to tell them this thing that I thought was cool. And if people want to chat, then usually you find something that you guys both like and you talk for a while.
Yeah. I think what helps too with the cons, though, like places that we've had conversations with people have been like specifically like con meetups. Like there was an Arcane meetup at the con. We held the panel, so that's how we met some more people. That's how we met Arias, who was comment I answered recently. And then a lot of people, I think, in our panel audience got to kind of like chat with each other and like so. I think going to cons and events, also like just being aware of if other cosplayers are holding like open to the public events near you and putting yourself out there and going to those and doing the awkward like talking to other people thing.
For me, it helps if people aren't in a big group. Like I get really nervous to approach people if they're in like a larger group, because that's like a lot of people who are suddenly perceiving your existence. But if it's like a person, or like they're in a group of like 2 or 3, that is like an acceptable number of people to like, in my brain, to like try and interact with. And again, if they don't look busy, if they don't look like they're trying to get something done, and if they say, hey, I'm going to this other thing, it was kind of like, you're sweet, but I gotta go, they gotta go.
Don't follow them, like, because that's also a thing people will do.
Yeah, no, like
sometimes at cons is just like,
like, yes, we had like a consistent group right before I moved out here, but that was not until like very close to when we moved. Like a lot of those game night videos are from like the last couple of months from like right before we left. So yes, that was fantastic. It was great to have people who wanted to hang out that consistently, but it took a while, a long time of having
so sometimes
there.
You also are just lucky that when you go to cons you meet the right people who also want to do the same things that you want to do. We
would not have met Armel if we did not go to the Arcane meetup at con.
Yeah, no, I think I really advocate like go to meetups at cons. Because those are, especially,
you already know you're gonna find people who like at least one of the same things you do.
And even if you don't make any friends, like the worst case scenario is you get some cool pictures with other cosplayers. Like there's no reason not to go to a meetup.
I'm like yeah, get involved in events, because it's like a lot of the friends that we made there, and then even like the friends that we have here, several of them were from having gone to like the like a Don Mai meetup.
We've
Komori-Con.
A bunch of the friends we've made here.
A lot of them were from getting involved in lip sync. Because you all chat with each other backstage. You all hype each other up and cheer each other on, and everybody is really invested in seeing you give the best performance you can give, and in having a really good time doing it. So it's just like, it's a really good atmosphere, and it's also just like a really good way to like meet people. And what's so scary about talking to people backstage when you're about to get up on stage and perform?
And lip sync I think is a lot more of a supportive community than some of the other like cosplay performance or cosplay competition communities within like the convention sphere, but I still think that like if there's an event that you're interested in, you should try to do it, and you'll probably meet other people who have that same interest as you do. Favorite compliments in and out of cosplay?
Anytime you think I look cool. Telling me I look cool is always a gender neutral, safe compliment.
I feel like half the comment section is just like, I love Victor. Whoever's cosplaying Victor.
An acceptable compliment. We love it. Because it is difficult to tell gender identities with people sometimes, and again, like I said, like I fluctuate a lot on how exactly I might want to be perceived. I tend to not stick to super like gendered language. I will try to find something that the person has clearly worked on. Like if you've clearly like put a lot of effort into your makeup for the day, I'm gonna compliment specifically like how cool your makeup looks, like, you know, how detailed it is, how well the color gradient like matches something, like whatever, like acknowledging the effort that you put into something. Same with like some of our friends who like compete in cosplay contests or something, when we've seen maybe in their stories how much effort they put into building that costume. And then it comes out fantastic and they look so good in it. And you're just like, oh my God, you look amazing. And then they get to chat about the work that they put into it as well as how good it looks when it's done.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's a good point. I feel like a lot of cosplayers acknowledging the work they put into it is really important. Because I think sometimes people will be like, oh, you're so talented. And that can be kind of like while that's a nice thing to say for a hobby that is so much dependent on like years and years of, or like it's just time that you've put into it and like developing a skill, which for some of them is years and years. The whole like, oh, you're so talented can feel a bit like you're brushing away all the work that and training that went into it.
Acknowledging that a lot of the stuff we do is at least semi performance based. It's less related to like the cosplay itself, but having the acknowledgement of like, oh my gosh, your panel was so fun. Or like, this game was my favorite. Or like, I loved how in character you were as Hunter and Willow or as Victor and Jace. Or maybe more specifically to some of our lip sync friends when we've all been competing in similar circuits and we're all able to comment on each other's growth and how
I just cry.
Evocative our storylines have gotten. Or like how much more confident we've gotten on stage. That one is a little more specific to the context of other performers. I don't necessarily need a random person to come up and be like, wow, compared to your first lip sync, this one was so much better. But to get off stage and have some of our friends backstage be like, oh my gosh, the way you've grown, the way you've like developed your storytelling even further than last time we saw you is so amazing, and we're able to like gush over each other. That is great. I'm not gonna lie, I take it as a compliment when people say, you made me cry.
No, I think with the lip sync stuff, because a lot of it has been emotional stuff, that like knowing that emotional reaction, which is kind of hand in hand with the panel stuff, when someone's like, that was really fun or that was really funny, it's like, okay, we're gonna try to not let this be a giant story. Get Jinxed, asked, how did you find out about Arcane? And then Emily asked, when did you first watch Arcane? And when did you first start cosplaying Arcane characters? Which is funny that we were just talking about lip sync.
I was saying, the short answer is we'd heard about Arcane before. But
everyone's heard about Arcane.
I had a friend who'd been poking me to watch it for a long time, and I was like, I'll get to it eventually. But what really got us was, our friends that we were just talking about gushing backstage with, had done a performance as Jinx and Vi, kind of like telling the season 1 story right as season 2 dropped.
Yeah. And if you want to watch that, you should look up the KomoriCon 2024 lip sync, or look up Dragon's Cosplay or Koi Pond Cosplay? Cosplay Pond. I'll have it there in the thing, but you guys, if you haven't watched that, pause this, go watch it, because you should cry over it.
Like we did.
But we watched it with no context, and we're still like very emotionally moved, and that was kind of like, okay,
we're like, all right,
we maybe need to actually start this show.
And so it was like as soon as we got home from con, I think
it was a little bit. We'd been like, oh, we should start watching something, and I was like, okay, let's do Arcane. Let's get the context.
We got through season 1 really fast, and then I think the first half of season 2 was out by that point, so we had watched through that as well. And then we had to wait for the rest of season 2 to come out, and then we finished that. And then it took a little bit longer to cosplay from it.
But the day after watching season 2, we'd known we were gonna cosplay the boys, which was funny because season 1, I liked Jace's. I had a lot of thoughts about Jace as a character. I was like, I don't think I'd cosplay him, because I was like, I don't think I can like pull that off. And then we got to the second, like the last part of season 2, and he had like the beard and like the dark shirt, and I was like, I think I'd do this version of him.
You were so upset with me when I said
because I told you like, I'll cosplay him, and you'd be like, well, I'm gonna be Victor, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
There was no question about that.
Yeah.
And it definitely didn't hurt that watching that kind of overlapped to like the tail end of my surgery recovery.
Yeah, so then I feel like there was a lot of things we wanted to get back into filming stuff, and you were like, you had the energy to, so there was a lot of motivation to.
Yeah. No, it was like, I was like finally like consistently getting on my feet again about like, having the energy to like actually make stuff again.
Yeah.
I honestly, going into that, I did not think that, well, one, I didn't realize Jason Victor were character, like, that's how little I knew about
the girls.
Yeah.
Well, I assumed that we'd want to be K-bi.
Yeah, no, I was
going,
like,
there's
we're gonna want to be
lesbians.
K-bi. I was like, maybe I'm gonna want to be Jinx.
That was funny because I was starting to plan the panel, like, right after watching Arcane, or right after watching season 2, and we were planning our cosplays. So I was, like, putting out feelers through Instagram of, like, would anyone be interested in being part of the panel? And one of our, like, con friends had replied to it and been like, I'm not sure, but are you guys gonna like run it as K-bi? And I was like, aw, you think we're cool? No, we're gonna be the boys.
No, I think it's really funny that like having watched it, like going in thinking, oh, I'm gonna be like want to be one of these like 3 girls, to have come out of it only really wanting to put together Victor and Silco.
Yeah. Switch the Foxes asked what fandoms you're in, favorite fanfics from said fandoms. Give me some Arcane fanfics. Also said they love our stuffs. Your sleep paralysis demon. This is the first sleep paralysis demon question. They asked quite a few. And they've ordered it, so these are a little out of order. But their first question was also wanting fanfic. Rex. But then they also a little bit later asked what fandoms we were in when we were younger and any we regretted. So I have first thing, what fandoms are we in right now?
Well, obviously Arcane.
Yeah. Like you can just tell from my stickers.
I am pretty much always in the Danny Phantom fandom.
Yeah, you are.
And the DC, like, specifically the, like, fanon stuff. More specifically the crossover of Danny Phantom and the DCU.
We're both pretty consistently in, like, the MXTX portion of the Donmai fandom. I've been very, like, maybe Scumvillain the most. For me, that's always been my number one, because that was my, like,
Scumvillain is definitely one of my big ones, yeah.
And that's been, like, several years running. So we've made a lot of content for them. We've made a good handful of Heaven official content as well, and that's also pretty big. A little bit less.
Scumvillain pillows right there. You've got Bing Pup.
We've done 2 lip syncs from Modazushi, but I feel like interact with the content for it less, except for Geese City. I do those TikToks.
You
those boys
love them.
No, I like really latched to that arc for some reason. I'm
like trying to.
We made our CMV for that.
I'm in more fandoms than this.
I'm looking at our bookshelf.
I know. Well,
Apothecary Diaries. Hunter x Hunter. Chainsaw Man, kind of. Yeah, Hanako.
Solo leveling for me.
Promised Neverland was a big one for me for a while, and so was She-Ra for a while.
Sorry, I'm like staring at the shelf to see
Death Note.
what I'm missing. Yeah, no, Death Note is fun.
Yeah. What do you fanfic, Rex?
Ooh, so I know they had said Arcane specifically. No, I read less Arcane than you do.
Yeah, I have my bookmarks.
I had the one, what was it, What's Happening Over Dinner? Or Decisions Are Happening Over Dinner.
That was the Vampire Werewolf Silco Side one, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just finished the Javik fanfiction that's based off that one Reddit post. So the title is, which is funny, I've also made a skit about this, but I made the skit before I read the fanfic. The title is Me, 28M, with my roommate of 1 year, 31M, I'm worried I might be homophobic towards him, by Ivy Pool. And it is long, and it's Javik, and it's funny. It's like modern age. It's funny, but it's also like a little angsty and very sweet. I also like The Phantom of the Opera is here, ... in the Apartment of Engineering by Random Bananas, which is another Javik fanfiction, and from the title is obviously a Phantom of the Opera AU.
Sorry, I'm like scrolling through all my Danny Phantom ones to find the...
I'm gonna give one more, as everyone's read A New Knife, so I'm not gonna say A New Knife. I'm not gonna say if you like pain, but if you're willing to like go through the angst and like have an accurate depiction of like grief, of Memories and Tomorrows by Lian Tosh is a season 2J season 1 Victor fic that is really good, but you go through it as they're going through it. So there's 3 for me, and those are 3 Arcane ones.
So if any of you guys ever consume Los Infernos,
oh yeah, their
content,
stuff's cute.
like their comics and stuff, they do have a one-shot of their content creator AU.
They have several one-shots. It's like a series.
Oh, sweet. I will have to read the other ones then. The one I have in mind is Wait a Minute, Feel My Heart's Intention, which I think is the first one. So I'll have to read the other ones later.
Yeah.
I'm specifically going back. Oh, I have The Foolproof Plan by Marina Cypher, which is basically Victor trying to never have to go to a gala again.
Oh, that one's fun. Yeah, but
I have not. This one's not completed. I think I've read everything that's out for it. It's called A Step to the Left by Kelpish, and it is Heimerdinger like realizing he's gonna get booted out of the council, so he essentially appoints Victor as his heir instead, so that his seat gets automatically inherited.
Interesting. I hesitate before starting something that's not complete yet, so.
I read a lot of incomplete things, so assume, unless I say it's a one-shot, anything I give you is probably not completed.
My fics complete now. That took a while, or the one I have posted now. So, if you want to read The Counselor Victor AU, which I might make them make content with me for as like advertisement for it, or have advertisement, but unfortunately I finished it like right before we started moving.
Okay.
But that's on my AO3, and it's called Dancing with Our Hands Tied.
It will make you cry.
Oh yeah, that's also if you like to go through
Decisions Are Happening Over Dinner was by Lil Munchkin.
And that one is...
That one's the vampire werewolf one.
Okay, it's vampire werewolf, but it's also Victor was raised by Silco.
It's also Victor was raised by Silco. It's also arranged marriage.
Layers.
That one is 1 chapter away from being done.
Then I'll read it.
And I think I've read through, so it says it's on chapter 15 out of 16. I think I've read through either 12 or 13.
Okay.
And it was getting really intense.
Yeah,
so,
that's why because you're like, oh, it's getting intense now. I'm like, I need to wait then.
So then I have a handful of like hysteric fics that I really like. So I guess there's another one. I am like peripherally in the Teen Wolf fandom.
No, you're in the Teen Wolf fandom enough that like that was where like all of the inspiration for the Werewolf Jace video came from. And I know nothing about werewolf stuff except for ABO.
Almost all of Teen Wolf with me. This one is just DC, but I am an absolute sucker for this one. I've reread it like twice. It is completed, but there is a Tim Drake centric fic in which he never becomes Robin. He ends up, I think it's in the tag, so it's not a spoiler. He ends up getting adopted by Slade through like a series of events. But it is very much, it just kind of turns into Slade kind of adopting all of Batman's kids. And I enjoy it a lot. It's really well written, actually. That one is a lot of fun. I like that one a lot.
Don't give me like one more if you're going to, because there's already a lot of editing I gotta do.
Okay, can I give one more and then one Danny Phantom?
Yeah.
Okay. This one also is Tim Drake centric. My friend recommended this one to me, and it is hilarious, and I reread it periodically. It's called Executive Assistant to the Batman, and it is again, Tim does not become Robin. He is an executive at Wayne Industries, and he kind of hates his life because he has to pretend he doesn't know Batman as Bruce, but he also makes it very clear that he maybe knows. And so it's just him and all of the like Bat family dancing around each other, except he's consistently more dead inside. It's beautiful. I love it. Now I gotta pick a really good Danny Phantom one. It's okay. I'm gonna find a good one.
How many bookmarks do you have?
147.
Oh my god.
Pretty much anything where Jason is the Red Knight, like that like canon where like they make him a half or a ghost or whatever, but Danny is like the king of the ghost zone and Jason is his knight. I love those. I mostly read Dead on Main, but Dead Tired is also fun. I guess we'll leave it at that because there are too many.
Okay. What fandoms were you in when you were younger? Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom, Teen Titans, Winx Club, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Avatar.
Avatar.
Musical theater. Just all of it. For me. Is there a fandom you regret? Because I don't think I have one. Because I feel like every time I got...
Be more chill.
I recently made a TikTok about that.
I know. That's why I was thinking about it.
I have conflicted feelings about the Be More Chill fandom because that is the one fandom that I made a decent amount of content for it, and then every time I would try to make different content, a lot of the people who liked my Be More Chill content would go onto that content and comment, like, make more Be More Chill stuff. And I still get those comments today sometimes. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about, and it's a tiny fandom. It's a tiny fandom. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of any that I regret.
I don't regret Be More Chill. I just get like there's because I think I made some good videos. That's why they're still up, and that's why how they still find me. But and it did help my channel grow. That's why, like, I can't say My Hero either, because I like the content I made for it, and it did help my channel grow. Do we have any funny stories for cosplaying in cons or in public? This is another sleep paralysis demon question. And have we ever been recognized by a fan?
You have. A handful of times.
Kinda. I've gotten the, I used to watch your videos a few times, or I've watched your videos a few times.
No, there was at least one KawaiiCon where somebody came up and was like, oh my god, you're Piper Emerald. I watch your videos.
Okay.
Because
yeah.
I'm pretty sure Goose and I were both with you when that happened.
I vaguely remember this. Okay.
That,
yeah.
I think it was 2 cons ago.
Mm-hmm. Someone asked if I make TikToks at UmiFest, and I was like, yeah, and they're like, I think I watch your TikToks. I'm like, okay.
I can't think of any time that I've been recognized.
Yeah, you're on the internet a lot more the past couple months.
Yeah,
so
I have not been around nearly as long.
If you're at a con that we're at and you want to talk to us about the JVig videos, you can't. Like,
do it, I dare you.
Yeah, like, we are down to talk about that. A lot of them are just on the internet.
Yeah, no.
Like, every time something happens, it just, like, goes directly there. Not really. Whenever we cosplay in public, we get those kind of, like, weird looks, and we get those kind of, like, confused comments from the strangers as we do stuff. And that's, like, that is in a handful of the vlogs.
I know, the baristas are very used to me walking in and Victor or whoever else I am that day.
Yeah. Because
we had, like, a specific coffee shop that we would go to by our house.
Yeah, so they'd seen Victor a few times.
Man, I wonder if they ever question what happened to us, because we just stopped showing. Well, like, we've been going there consistently.
That happens a lot.
And then we just disappear
when people
forever.
Move, you disappear forever. How would you pronounce their name? Because I'm notorious for pronouncing the usernames wrong.
Koshuk Float.
Okay, Koshuk Float.
Is that Egyptian?
To both of us, favorite dinosaur, go. And this dinosaur is their favorite. You want to pronounce that too?
Parasaurolophus?
Yeah, that will always be peak to them. I don't know enough about dinosaurs. Okay. As a kid, I liked brontosauruses, but I've been told they're not actually real, or they weren't real, that it was scientists built the bones wrong.
I can't remember what they're called. The one, I think it's what Ducky is in The Land Before Time. Die plus something. Hang on, I can figure it out. Is it you? No, it's not you.
Do you want to just look up Ducky?
Yeah. So it says Ducky was a Sorolophus? Is like this guy. Where'd he go? Where'd the picture go? I'm thinking of these guys. That one.
They also want to know, was it ever the plan for game night to be let's target Jace with cheating night? Or did that just happen? What
That
do you
just
mean,
happened.
no?
I don't control Victor's decisions. I did not plan for any of it.
Okay, no, but kind of the bit, because I'd made a skit before on TikTok that if the Arcane characters played or had a game night, Jinx and Vi and Echo, which we've never had Echo for game night, would make up like fake rules and pretend they were Zon rules to like fuck with Caitlyn. And at the end of the skit is like Victor going along with it too to also fuck with Jace. But for our first game night, we didn't have a Caitlyn. But we did have 3 Zon kits to target me. And then when we have Kate, it's kind of balanced. You bully me and Kate. You bully Kate a little bit more than you bully me.
Okay,
because
so
Jinx and Kate go at it, and you're just kind of like...
In my defense, Victor bullies Jace all the time, no matter what.
Yeah, it's flirting.
That is not exclusive to game night. What is exclusive to game night is Victor trying to see how much he can cheat and get away with.
Yeah, what happens is, and it's just Victor and Jinx, you guys do have like kind of a truce with each other that you'll help each other cheat to see if you can get away with it, and also so one of you wins. That is like, that's an understanding I know you have. So me specifically.
I mean, if Kate's playing, obviously her too. But
yeah.
Because you are consistently always one of the people playing, yes.
Yeah.
No,
Jinx just kind of like... Jinx will bully Kate more than me when we have Kate, but if not, I'm there. Victor bullies me because he wants me.
I don't really bully Kate much.
No, you just kind of go along with
I'll poke at her sometimes the same way that we all poke at each other.
No, it's kind of it's a more even playing ground. I don't usually outright bully Jinx, but
Victor knows he can say meaner things to Jace.
Yeah.
Than to other people.
Yeah, because you want me.
Well, I'm pretty sure half the times that we've been tackled to the ground makes that fairly evident.
So that is the game night explained. They also specifically less Victor, more you and Goose think it's funny when because I edit everything, for me to catch them cheating on camera later.
It is.
So they do like to do
fun.
things. And Jack, who was Silco, did it too. Not with cheating. He didn't cheat at any game, but he did like not show his cards, because he thought it would be funny for me to like catch it later when I was editing.
Mm-hmm.
He ruined it though because he told me, because I think he was scared I was gonna be mad. He was like, "Don't be mad," but I've not been showing my cards the whole time.
It was definitely something where, especially throughout like the first game night and then any game night past that, it very much became a how many times can I cheat in a way that you could catch on camera
that's what
that
you guys
as a player
you guys specifically
would not.
will let the camera in on the joke because that makes for good content. Because they don't cheat normally. When I play normal games with them, they don't cheat. This is just it's just for game night
character,
and it hasn't, and you didn't do it as Elle in Death Note.
No.
Yeah. Except for, I mean, you technically didn't cheat.
Oh, are you talking about the Carthage community?
Yeah, as when we did the Death Note game night, Light should have won. But Misa won because Elle gave Misa a card just for pity, even though...
See, I was gonna say the closest we got was the two of us pulling on each other's handcuffs in
Oh,
Jenga.
yeah, but that's not cheating. That was just us trying to mess with each other. We just are assholes. Last First asked, how long does it take for you to make a costume, and where do you get your supplies?
That's mostly a question.
And it really depends on the costume.
So if we can thrift pieces, we usually try to do that at least a little bit.
I will say, yeah. I was going to a local fabric store for like my entire cosplay history, and we've moved now, so I gotta find a new fabric store. But it'll be a combination, I think, of thrifting and making. Mm-hmm. For the Dawn My stuff, pretty much all of that is just made by just from fabric, because there is not a lot that you can thrift with that, and that's something I've like figured out the patterns for over just making a lot of them. For Jace, I made the coat, but a lot of the base for him is thrifted. Even for like the season 2 shirt, that's thrifted, or not thrifted. That's like it was a base shirt that was thrifted, and I added all of the extra stuff. I made your tunic for Victor, and we made a lot of like the base, but that was kind of a like con crunch. Like what we were planning to do had not gone the way we wanted, so it was
not great.
It was a last minute like we can't be naked. But I think it came out good considering we had like a day to do it. Yeah, so that time depends on the project. Jace's coat took a long time because I'd never made something like that before.
It also depends on if Bree is feverish or not, because...
Oh, yeah, so I'm a bad example for cons because I will con crunch, and there was once where I was making like 3 of our robes for Scum Villain, and I had like a mild fever because we'd gotten a COVID vaccine, and I tend to always get a fever every time I get a vaccine. So I had like a mild fever, but I wasn't like sick. So I was like, oh, it's fine, and like it'll pass. And I sewed
mine.
Yeah, their sleeve on upside down.
And none of us noticed until con.
We didn't notice until after con. We were packing everything up to go home, and we were like, oh, this does not match.
I thought it was a design choice during con.
No, it was wrong.
It was not until you were looking at it and were like, is this upside down? And I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah. So for timelines, if it is all I have to like, if I have like time off and it's all I'm doing, maybe a day. If I'm a normal human, maybe like a day for like one like full thing. If I'm a normal human, maybe like 2 weeks, but that's with like devoting a couple hours a day to it.
And then,
which, yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, no, I do not sew. The sewing machine scares me. Eventually, I will maybe overcome that fear, but I mostly, if I'm contributing to the like character, is probably gonna be either wigs or props.
Do you wear wigs?
Yes. Styling a wig depends a lot on like how long it is and like what kind of hairstyle it needs. Usually the like base prep of just like crimping and cutting and everything takes a couple hours. If it's a really long wig, then you know, like it takes longer. And then the props obviously very heavily depend on what they are. I know you can knock foam clay props out pretty quickly when they're small.
Yeah.
But like the hammer and the staff that we had for like season 2 Jason Victor, I made those in just like a couple of evenings after work.
Yeah, but we were con crunching.
Yeah, those were con crunches. Those were not good examples, and there are a lot of improvements that I would like to make to them. Also, Jace's hammer will not be making it to any more cons because
it's over there, but he did not entirely survive the move.
It is almost entirely made of cardboard, and some of the, even though I try to like firm it up, some of the like seams in the cardboard already just are kind of like giving out.
Yeah, we tried real hard to make him secure in the pod, but
well, that I think was always going to happen over time.
That's okay. I will. We gotta get me a weapon though, because if we do cosplay chess at Kumo, I gotta kill you with something.
Why are you assuming that you're gonna win?
Because I'm gonna ask the coordinator, can I win?
No, this is an evolution of you.
Hardest cosplay.
Well, it's most difficult cosplay to make, so that's definitely a good question.
Most difficult cosplay to make. This is another sleep paralysis demon question. I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of layers on your Shaleon.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Prince Shaleon was difficult in the sense it took, like I had to redo him. Like, I made him, and I was okay with it, and then I ended up, like, going in and changing bits of it. Okay. Do you have any favorite TV show or book tropes?
Ooh.
Or just, I guess maybe just tropes in general. This is from Artemis the Unknown.
I like most something to lovers. Like,
Yeah.
it could be friends, it could be rivals. If it's done well, it could be
both.
enemies.
Yeah.
I enjoy like a natural shift in dynamics or like a progression in relationship.
Yeah. I like enemies to lovers. Or like rivals to lovers. It's fun. I just said to rapid fire through the rest of the sleep paralysis ones. Then there's another one.
Okay.
There's a different comment I want to close with. Guilty pleasure ship.
Maljevic.
Like, you're guilty about that?
No.
You're not guilty about that. You're very proud about it. I feel like Zondad's gonna be guilty pleasure because it's a little more toxic, but I'm not guilty about it though. Like, do I have a guilty pleasure?
Steric, I guess. But that's just reading anything for Teen Wolf.
I'd say like the Ye City like throuple is guilty pleasure. I'm not guilty about it. I just like I don't feel guilt about fandom stuff. I don't have anything that's weird enough, and the ones that some people will argue are weird enough, I'm like, nah. I definitely don't have any for Arcane. I feel like every Arcane ship I have is like
Damonette.
What's that?
Damian Wayne and Marinette Dupain-Ching.
Sure. Okay, there you have it. Music taste.
I listen to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's very difficult because there's like
I listen
to everything.
I listen to like all of the My Little Pony villain songs a lot. I have a playlist that I've built for Victor.
Yeah.
I
have a
obviously
Jace playlist.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh yeah. No, the car has just been either like.
And then I have like a
K-pop Demon
Rabbitology
Hunters
mix that's
or
like a lot of like folkish music, a lot of Fish in a Birdcage. I listen to a lot of like piano and orchestra music too, especially when I'm like trying to focus on like writing.
Yeah, it's very wide range because it's either like emo music or it's like musical theater.
Oh, I do love like 2000s emo.
Yeah, which goes into this is their second comment. That's why we're back to one again. Were either of you musical theater kids or into musical theater, or theater kids or into musical theater? Are there any stories you'd like to share? You were not a theater kid, surprisingly.
I was not.
I was a theater
I was a dance kid, sort of. Very loosely.
Yeah, I was very into musical theater, but a lot of my actual like theater experience was more dramatic. I did a lot of Shakespeare, and then I did some like children's theater that was affiliated with the same theater. I think the craziest, not the craziest story, but there have been twice that I've become an unofficial understudy with no notice. The second time it happened, it was during Tech Week because someone like dramatically left for diva reasons, and so then I had a week to learn the part, so that was not too bad. And most times this has happened, I've been like in a more like assistant director role, so I was not actually supposed to be in the show. I was just there to help, but I have been in a lot of shows. The first time it happened though was Hansel and Gretel. My sister played Gretel, and they made me assistant director because they're like, well, you'll be at all of the rehearsals anyway. So I also had like a smaller like tech support and like just like shadowy character role because that was what they had all the teenagers doing, and they had like younger kids being Hansel and Gretel. And then my sister did one show in front of 1,200 children, and then we found out that night that she had pneumonia, and she'd had pneumonia the whole day. So then we all freaked out because there were no understudies, which is never something. Always have understudies, even if it's impossible. Like, even if you'll never need an understudy, always have an understudy for like. But we had none. So that night it was like 8 p.m. and the next show was that morning at like 8 a.m. I think I had been like, well, maybe I could do it because I've been there every rehearsal, so maybe I know the lines. And then they called she wasn't the director of this show, she was the director of like a bunch of shows I'd been in, and she was in the show and was also producing, so we called her first because we're like, she will freak out less. And we explained it to her, and she was like, okay, I'll handle it. And she called the director and was like, this is what's gonna happen, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna talk to Brie in the morning, we're gonna figure everything out, I'll find her a costume somewhere in the costume department, and we'll make it work. And we made it work, and it was very fun, and it was very terrifying. And it was very terrifying, and then it was very fun. There were times where I dropped lines because I did not know, because I knew the lines, but they were not I didn't know the lines, and the people I was with were great, and the adults were like very professional, so they knew how to cover. And then my friend who was Hansel, they learned very quickly how to cover and how to figure things out and how to just like, because they were taller than me at the time, they probably still are, just grab me by my shoulders and like lead me through things, and that worked. And that was the first time I did that. So that's a story. It's gonna fall. Woo! Favorite songs from Wicked and or other musicals?
Defy Gravity.
I don't have a favorite song from Wicked because I like all of them. I think As Long As You're Mine, probably. Like, that was the most played when I was first listening to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is
Dancing Through Life is good. Defy Gravity is good. I'm have less.
You've listened to Act 2 less.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for No Good Deed. I'm really excited for No Good Deed.
No, I think I've only heard the full thing the one time we saw it last year.
Yeah.
And then I've heard the Act 1 stuff more.
Mm-hmm.
As far as other musicals, anything. Yes.
Phantom for me, but specifically like the
anything
title song
in the Hatchet verse.
Oh yeah,
from
Hatchet,
Star Kid,
which was our most recent lip sync, which will be up very soon, I promise.
Also, pretty much any song in Cinderella's Castle.
Mm-hmm.
But I do really like Step on Your Grave.
Yeah, which is a future lip sync.
Which is a future lip sync for me. That's part of why
it's probably be your first solo. Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Katie Jones has been watching nearly all of the our full videos, and they're asking what of our future cos plans that we're most excited for.
Sasha Boys.
Yeah.
I mean, like K-pop Demon Hunters in general. I'm excited to put some of the girls together too, but
Sajra Boys. Yeah. I'm excited to figure that out. Also Bobby. I'm gonna do Bobby at some point, but that's a
specifically
secret. That's a secret.
I think
only if you made it this far in the video do you get to know that.
I think Romance and Mystery might be or not Romance, Baby and Mystery might be my favorite that I'm looking forward to putting together aesthetically.
Are we gonna do Zoe for con?
I'm gonna do Zoe for con.
Okay. What are we planning on doing for any future cons? So we're gonna be our soonest one is Rose City Comic Con. That's in Portland. That's September 5th through 7th. I got a content creator. Yeah, so I got a content creator pass for that. So if you were interested in going to that con, I'll have my affiliate link in the bio, so you can come find us and meet us, and it would be cool to see some of you guys if you were in this area.
I might not be where Brie is the whole time. I'm also running photography
and they're also doing photography stuff. So this will simultaneously.
I will be like in and out of the content creator stuff.
It's funny because it's gonna be maybe a more chill con for us and also a not more chill con for us because we don't have any. We have maybe one event that we're doing and it's someone else's event that we like signed up to potentially. We applied to being part of it, so we don't know if we're doing it yet. But the rest of it is not. We don't have any panels that we're running or any like big things we're doing. But you'll be doing photography stuff, and I might have to help with like con stuff. But potentially it'll be a little more chill because we're not running anything yet. For KomoriCon though, which is in November, that's at Halloween to November 2nd. Also in Portland.
Oh wait, no, we're gonna be in October at FanFest Northwest.
Yeah, so we're going to a small con in Washington that Nick will be vending at, and I will be helping with that. And then at KomoriCon we always apply for the lip sync, so we'll see if we'll meet for
We're doing
our third year.
Groups with friends, trying to do We usually try to
doing a
make
lot
it
of
to
group
the
stuff,
online
yeah.
meetup, and then
What's kind of nice about most of the cons here is we haven't really figured out our circuit yet for running our own events, but there's a lot of events that other people are running that are planning to be part of. So, but that's something
we'll
all
try
have.
Cosplay Chess this year.
Yeah, we'll have the info about that as soon as we know what all of that is, and then I'll be on all our social medias.
And then after that is Darabrook in mid-November, and I'll be vending at that one again also.
So we've got like the rest of the year figured out, and then we'll see what next year is.
Hopefully SAC in Seattle.
Yeah, that'll be
that's
interesting.
the only like early in the year con that.
Yeah, maybe Fan Expo, we'll see. There are a lot more conventions now that we're not on an island, so we'll see what the plans
excited.
end up being. But the most recent one is going to be Rose City, and I have the affiliate link if people want to buy tickets. And their last question was, if you had to be any character in the world, what would you choose?
Is this just like a general, like I could pick any character from anything?
I think so, but...
Would I be in this world or their world?
Probably their world.
Ooh.
But that makes sense. So I don't want to be anyone from Arcane then.
No, that...
Yeah. Too many of our fandoms are traumatizing. So, like, I don't know if I have an answer for this.
I'm gonna be Fel from Campfire Cooking.
Is that the big wolf?
That is in fact the big wolf who just gets to eat the food.
Okay. Yeah. So, I think we've been filming for, like, several hours. I will figure out how to edit one of the stays. Bye.
Gerald says goodbye!
The camera's not on fire. Anything else Gerald wants to... What? Okay. I was gonna say, is there anything else Gerald wants to say, but I don't think
No, but you're like reaching and you're reaching.
You reach it! You turn it off.
I'm significantly further from it.
No, I'm significantly further.